say that women all over the world are cheated. They are told there is a Mr. Right. He is perfect. He is this knight in shining armor.
Then one fine day you wake up and find out that they're actually their own person who is not perhaps exactly what you had in your mind.
Honestly, is it really scary for a man that you say, I love you, and he goes, yeah, and you say, I'm having your baby, and he goes, wow.
Yeah, of course it is.
But isn't it scary for the woman? Hello,
No,
the
but
baby is in the woman's
apparently
stomach.
not. I mean, it's not often that women say, oh my God, I'm pregnant, do something about it. And the guy is saying, no, have my child. Maybe that happens too.
9 months she carries it. She's bloating and contracting, going through mood swings, getting sick. And still the woman, it's all put on the woman, kids, you. And the guy goes, oh.
I agree that if one day you're living with a woman and you have a relationship as two independent people who've come together, and then if you're not careful or if something goes wrong, if you haven't planned it, and the next thing she's pregnant and she wants to have a child, I think it changes the scenario completely. And maybe because of the hormonal change women go through, they change also in their minds. They're like, yesterday I felt like this, today I feel like this, and they are feeling like that. But for men, perhaps nothing's changed. They're like, look, one minute you're going to parties and saying, great, we look good together. And the next minute it's like, look, we can't go anywhere for the next 6 or 8 months because I'm not fit to travel. And actually for the next 3 years we can't go anywhere because baby's too small. And then why we can't, I mean, everything does change.
तुम्हारे pregnancy के books और papers living room में बिखरे पड़े रहते हैं. It's not a living room, it's a garbage dump. I can't stand it.
I think it's better to say it than to, feel it and feel that you should adopt someone else's morality and try and accept it.
No, I agree. I think of all the things in a relationship, honesty is very important. If there's zero communication and dishonesty, then...
In Salam Namaste, what we kind of look at live-in relationships is, in a way, how dangerous they can be and how what starts off on a whim can actually lead to a whole lot of commitment issues, whether it's financial or, physical in terms of...
But I also think Salam Namaste is looking at a generation which is very today, which says that, listen, I don't want the excess baggage.
What's going on? What's going on?
Amber and Nick both want to break away from the emotional burdens of families and we don't want to do this, we don't want to do that. But when you have a problem, you don't know who to turn to.
I think the point in the script also is, since the film is set in Melbourne, it's because it's a slightly more permissive society, right? So you take the story out of India where live-in can become the issue and say, fine, they're living in and they're together. Now let's look at the dynamics of a man and a woman who are today's people. I mean, forget today's people, it's like us, I mean, our generation. And they're living together. So when two people get together, they're not always the healthiest people. Cinderella, you're right. I mean, we're taught that you meet one person, it's perfect, and everyone lives happily ever after. The story always ends at the wedding. I really think it's important for filmmakers. I mean, we are somewhere artists, and it's nice to work for a director like Siddharth who represents also the social kind of thought of today.
So
A film is a director's personality, I feel. Like an uncool guy cannot make a cool movie. How's he going to put the frame up?
As you said earlier that it's a romantic comedy, but somewhere there's
it's a social disguise. There's a romantic comedy.
Exactly. On that note, let's talk about Siddharth. First of all, he's so young, and I used to always think, can he pull it off? Can he not? But once we did that reading in Goa, between you, me, Adi and Sid, I was quite convinced because he was very, no, I don't want this.
He's very clear about what he doesn't want and what he wants, which is really nice for actors.
But also, I think what was very cute was when Sid started directing, in the beginning, everybody was so not used to him as being the director and the assistant, that Sid was running around doing this, running around doing that. I think the cutest part was when we did the first shot of the film on that beach, Rye Beach in Melbourne, and he said, "Okay," and everybody clapped and said, "Yay, your first shot." And I think some of the Aussie crew thought that after every shot we were going
We're supposed to clap. I gave a shot for him once where my character's late and he's on the phone and he's saying, "I'm on my way." And I thought I'd done some really quite interesting acting by drinking a glass of milk while saying it.
Slow it down, yaar. कौन बोल रहा है और क्यों चिल्ला रहे हो? Crap. बस मैं पहुंच रहा हूँ. मैं तुम्हारे स्टूडियो के बाहर हूँ यार. I'm looking for parking.
And I said, yeah, I'm on my way. So I thought drinking the milk would put across that there's no way I'm on my way. And I loved the shot. And he didn't use it. And I said, why? And he said, it gives you a slight callous feel because it looks like you really don't care because you're drinking milk and I don't want my character to do
But
that.
he's very perceptive. I mean, amazing that you have that insight.
Well, he earned, there's a large crew there of varying ages and nationalities, and I think he earned everyone's respect. It's not easy they would have run amok had they not respected him. So what was that?
Hello, I wore it. What about you? You kept pulling up your pants this high because you were saying my sides are showing. What about that?
Concern for cinema.